Hey, Mike here with your next installment of my SEC blog. Today is the cap-off video for Week 3 in the SEC. Right now I'm 25-6 in my predictions. Alabama and LSU, they still looking good to contend for the SEC West title. South Carolina pulling out a close one against Navy. Still for me, contending for the SEC East. And Florida, one of my picks I missed this week, beating Tennessee, is really coming out. And to me, could really contend for the SEC East with South Carolina. That game will be a real big one. But for now, let's compare and contrast scores. Alabama against North Texas. I picked Alabama to win 38-0. They win 41-0. Alabama looking real strong. Definitely a contender for the SEC and maybe a national championship contender, but they have not competed against anybody to really sell themselves to make us an SEC West champion just yet. Penn State was a legit contender until Penn State almost gets upset by Temple. It really hurt my confidence in the Crimson Tide, but they have a chance to redeem themselves against Arkansas this weekend. One of the best defenses, if not tied for the best with LSU. It definitely comes in close second with a real good defense at Alabama against the #1 offense at Arkansas. This SEC matchup's huge for the West, and it's also detrimental to who's going to end up winning the national or going to the national championship. Excuse me. But Alabama, I pulled off a real good one against a little high school team. Like I said, a good matchup against Arkansas this weekend. Speaking of Arkansas, I picked Arkansas to win 56-13, and they won 38-28. Struggled a little bit against this little Sun Belt team. Tyler Wilson still looking strong. This offense is hot. And going against Alabama, they want some revenge from the past few years where it's just been real close with Alabama. This is going to be one of your marquee games you need to mark up this weekend. And we'll get to the predictions here in a couple of video or so, but it's going to be a good one. And Arkansas comes out a close one over Troy. And then Georgia and Coast Carolina picked them to win 45-10, and they take out a lot of frustration on a little FCS school, 59-0. USC at Navy, 35-14. South Carolina was my pick. They win 24-21, almost upset by the midshipmen. Real good team, and a lot of people are shaking heads why the Gamecocks even put them on their schedule. I figured this team, this game would have been a little bit, just a little practice, but that option offense against South Carolina really, really shook up the Gamecocks, and they get ready for a game against Vanderbilt, which I think is going to be a really good game to see how the SEC East holds out. Then you have Louisville and Kentucky. I picked Kentucky win 2014. This being one of my three misses this week, Louisville wins 24-17. Offense is picking up a little bit there in Kentucky. Joker Phillips is really pushing his team to do better. This team is going to have to do better if they expect to go to a bowl game. The way Vanderbilt's playing, this team could end up going 5-7 before the season's over with. They got a lot of maturing to do if they expect to go anywhere. And then you have Ole Miss and Vandy. I picked Vanderbilt to beat the Ole Miss Black Bear Rebels 35-21. Vandy wins 30-7. This Vanderbilt team looks really good, and they are on fire. Ole Miss slumping around. Houston Nutt starting to get under fire, and a lot of whispers of him getting the boot out of Oxford. Vanderbilt gets ready to play USC this weekend. Ole Miss playing Georgia. To me, that's going to be a little bit of a sloppy game. But Ole Miss, injuries hurt them. This is a good team, guys, but the injuries is really killing them, and the quarterback problems, it's getting worse and worse for the Rebel Black Bears. And now that they lost to Vanderbilt, the spirit is completely broken there in Oxford. And it's going to take a lot for this team if they even want to go to a bowl game this year. Auburn and Clemson, my second miss of the week. I picked Auburn to win 45-31. Clemson wins 38-24. This Clemson team struggled against some FCS schools. And then they come out and they pull out all the stops against Auburn, take out a lot of frustration on the Auburn Tigers after their near loss last year. Auburn struggling huge on defense, giving up 600 yards, and they're in the bottom 100 when it comes to defense in all of the BCS NCAA. Auburn still got a lot to mature. If they expect to win any games, got an easy one at Florida International this weekend. Clemson going to take on Florida State. LSU and Mississippi State Thursday night game. I picked LSU to win 28-17. LSU wins 19-6 in a good defensive slugfest. When Jarrett Lee threw that touchdown pass, that game was over with. Mississippi State just couldn't handle this LSU defense. Chris Ralph being benched at the end of the game with Dan Mullen's frustration and him not being able to do anything. Vic Ballard being only held to 30 yards. This LSU defense is for real as they go into Morgantown to take on the West Virginia Mountaineers this weekend. And then my game of the week and my last miss, I picked Tennessee to win 24-17 over Florida. Florida wins 33-23. Florida stopping a last-minute rally by the Volunteers. Tennessee's offense, they're good offense, but this Florida defense is so much more aggressive and it's a lot faster. Florida really coming out to be an SEC East contender. Tennessee, it seems, is going to be back to the middle tier. I still think this Tennessee team has the potential to upset somebody, and I believe they have the potential to become an SEC contender once again here in a year or so. The way Derek Dooley's doing with this program, they just got to get a few kinks out, and they got to get a rushing game if they expect to go anywhere. Well, that's it for today. We'll come out with your predictions tomorrow on Week 4 in the SEC. This is Micah Brockway signing off. SEC.